Friends, I have forgotten the face of my father. In my haste to whiz through 90s King, I completely forgot to give you 19 reasons to read the third book in the Dark Tower series. I truly cry your pardon. Now with that all said, here are 19 reasons to read The Wastelands. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I'm going through the works of Stephen King pretty much in chronological order, apart from this time, and giving you 19 reasons to read each one. If that sounds like something you'd like more of, check out the rest of the videos on my channel and maybe consider subscribing too so you don't miss any in the future. So in this video we're back in 1991 and we're back on the path to the Dark Tower with The Wastelands, the third book in that series. Now if you want my comprehensive guide to the Dark Tower, including a suggested reading order of not only the main books but all of the connected books, I'll pop it up there somewhere and you can go and check that out whenever you like. But if you're sticking around for reasons to read The Wastelands, let's get into this. As we do now around here, I'm going to cluster any spoilery reasons at the end and I will give you fair warning so you can dip out if you need to. But other than that, let's get started with 19 reasons to read The Wastelands. So the book derives its title from the 1922 T.S. Eliot poem The Wastelands, and quite a few lines from that poem are reprinted in the book. Also, the main two sections of the book, Jake, Fear in a Handful of Dust, and Lud, A Heap of Broken Images, are also lines from that poem. The book's subtitle is Redemption, which is pretty fitting for a book whose themes really lean heavily on correcting past mistakes and bringing people together who were meant to be together. So perhaps the biggest reason to check this one out is that this is the book where the Dark Tower really found its voice and where King probably realised he had quite the epic on his hands. Now while we were shown the other worlds than these in The Gunslinger, and we were even taken through a few doors between them in The Drawing of the Three, and saw some monsters too, this is the book where King really starts building everything out and it really starts coming into its own. It's probably my favourite of the entire series, and it's certainly an enjoyable one to read. So let's get into the plot of this one. In short, it's about two things. Roland and his quartet starting their journey along the path of the beam towards the tower, and bringing Jake back into the fold. It begins 5 weeks after the end of The Drawing of the Three, and starts with them having to confront a giant cyborg bear, and keeps that pace up throughout. It is a riot. This book also takes us to the ancient city of Lud, and introduces us to the insane deranged monorail Blaine, who is a pain and is a key part of Dark Tower pop culture. Oh, this book is also where we meet one of the greatest characters in literary history, Oi the Billy Bumbler. So more Dark Tower lore that we get in this book: 12 guardians, 12 beams. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail here because it's more fun to just experience it, but all that shit is really important, and the giant cyborg bear, he is one of those guardians. So let's talk bad guys for a second. We meet a couple in this one. We have Gasha and the TikTok man. So Gasha is this weird kind of paedophile pirate type, and the TikTok man is nothing to do with the social network TikTok. He's actually Gasha's boss. They're both strange, frustrating, but also pretty compelling. Then of course there's also Blaine the Mono, someone whose arrival is hinted at throughout the book when Jake has a copy of Charlie the Choo Choo, and when we finally meet him, he is fucking crazy. He's got a smile that can't be trusted, he speaks in capital letters, he loves riddles, and he is terrifying. Okay, I think we've come as far as we can without spoilers, so after this, we're going into mild spoiler territory, so consider yourself warned, and if you need to leave now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. So one of the things I love about this is the impending arrival of Jake. Now, because Roland stops Jake from being pushed in front of the car in The Drawing of the Three, he fucks with the space-time continuum. He's created this paradox where both characters and both realities are trying to coexist in his head. We've got the Jake from The Gunslinger, but we've also got the Gunslinger story without Jake because he didn't die and didn't come into Roland's world. It's all going on in Roland's head and sending him slowly crazy, and the way King weaves these two ideas together and finally brings them into one is really, really well done. Also, Jake's birth back into Midworld is probably one of the best scenes in the entire Dark Tower epic. We've got a house trying to eat the poor kid. We've got a demon having sex with one of the other characters. We've got crazy weather going on and an emotional reunion. It is epic. Ah yes, the demon having sex with someone, specifically Susanna. You should probably hold on to that because it becomes quite important. Another thing I love about this is that Eddie actually plays a key role in bringing Jake back into the world, even though Eddie and Jake had never met up until this point. So when Roland burns the man in black's jawbone, Eddie sees the shape of the key, and he whittles that fucking key just from memory. And of course, when it comes down to it, that key is what literally unlocks the door and brings Jake into Midworld. He's more than just a sexy dude with one-liners, is already. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the book where the Dark Tower really hits its stride, and you can see that when we're going through Lud, which is the twinner of New York. Everything is similar, but different. It really encapsulates the whole there are other worlds than these ideas. So, upon entering Lud, not long after Jake has come back into Midworld, the gang get into difficulties on this decrepit old bridge that looks a lot like the George Washington Bridge, and poor Jake is kidnapped by that weird paedophile pirate Gasher. Poor kid, he just can't get a break. So the hunt to rescue Jake and get him away from the TikTok man is probably some of this book's most thrilling parts. Even if Gasher's annoying, the chase is just, oh, you can't put it down. So as things start going to shit in Lud, our quartet make it out and leave the town on board Blaine the Mono. Job done? Think again. As I've already mentioned, Blaine has gone insane in the membrane, and he has decided that he is going to crash himself at the other end of the line, killing everyone on board our quartet unless they can give him a riddle that he can't solve. Tricky. Now that, brilliantly, is actually how this book ends. We're left on a cliffhanger of whether the quartet can stop their impending death by stumping this supercomputer monorail insane crazy train with a riddle. Now, just be thankful that if you want to know what happens next, you can just go and pick up Wizard and Glass right away. When these originally came out, there was a 6-year gap between drinks. 6 years to find out how a cliffhanger panned out. Whew. So lastly, once you get to the end of this book, you will have a very clear idea of whether or not the Dark Tower series is for you. As I said already, this is the one where King really finds his stride with the Dark Tower, and it's after this that he really starts pulling into the rest of his works and weaving this world together. So if you get to this point, and you're even mildly in, go for the rest of it. You will get plenty out of it. So there you go, 19 reasons to read The Wastelands. Let me know what you thought of this one in the comments, and do give me some stick for completely missing this one out and jumping literally years ahead in the chronology. I won't mind at all. If you want to come and talk Dark Tower or Stephen King stuff, come on over to Instagram where I'm at Dave Musson, always happy to chat to you. And if you like this video and want more, then check out the rest of my channel. If you like, even consider subscribing, and then you won't miss any in the future. Hopefully I won't miss any more in the future as well, but if I do, I will always come back and correct myself. I will see you again for another one very soon. Until then, safe travels over long days and pleasant nights.